What is up, everybody? It's Casual Fan back for another video. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. And today I'm going to be talking to you guys and giving you guys my information on the head coach firings so far in the NFL season. If you guys don't know what it is, it's essentially called Black Monday, the Sunday after the last game of the regular NFL season. All the bad coaches get fired. And I'm going to be telling you guys which decisions I think were right and what decisions I thought were wrong. So before this video starts, real quick, if you're new here to the channel, like and subscribe. I do lots of sports and NFL videos. Stick around for the NFL playoffs and my predictions on those games coming soon. And also I do sports videos from time to time. So yeah, let's get into the first firing, which I think was absolutely necessary by this organization. They did a great job letting him go. It is Mr. Joe Judge, who I think was probably one of the worst head coaches in the NFL. Well, actually, that was probably Urban Meyer, but the worst coach of the NFL by Week 18 was definitely Joe Judge. He had a disappointing, I believe it was a 10-23 record with the Giants of the past two seasons, and this Giants team has a lot of talent for them to be 10-23. Not to mention, last week they ran a QB sneak on 3rd down and 9. That is rock bottom football right there. That is, oh my goodness, if just like how Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee podcast, if he was in that position and if he got called a QB sneak on 3rd down and 9 from your own 5-yard line, he would have been furious. And I think a lot of NFL quarterbacks would have been furious. So the Giants organization have a lot of things to grow on and get better with their organization. And this move right here, firing Joe Judge, that is the first step that they should take, and it's a W move by them. Now they just need to go after a good coach and a successful offseason. Then we have Mike Zimmer, who is one of the most demanded head coach firings of the year. And I think the Vikings did a great job firing him. It's kind of ironic because in his 8 seasons of coaching the Vikings, at one point he was considered one of the best coaches in the NFL. But this year, I think he got like a brain tumor or some shit because he was just not a good coach at all. He made very, very questionable decisions. He was shitting on his quarterback, Keelan Mond. You needed to get him experience that game against Green Bay. And he was not calling the right plays. His defensive scheme wasn't working. And Minnesota is just 33-31 ever since losing in the NFC Championship game in 2017. So a lot of decline. They missed the playoffs last year. They missed the playoffs this year, and they've had a lot of talent on this roster for them to miss the playoffs. So just an L move from the Vikings in general. They've had some losses on this season that shouldn't have happened. But as a Packers fan, firing Mike Zimmer was the right decision. Rare W move from the Vikings. The Chicago Bears firing Matt Nagy. Do I even need to talk about this move, whether it's right or wrong? I mean, as a Packers fan, I had the time of my life watching Chicago suffer this year, while Matt Nagy was just absolutely throwing away their season. And yes, I think this is absolutely the right move. And they fired Ryan Pace too. So it should be very interesting to see who they get. This was easily the most demanded firing of the entire season. Like the entire city of Chicago, I think like 8 million people, something like that. Everybody and their mamas were requesting Matt Nagy to get fired. They had chants in like high school basketball games. They had Instagram accounts literally just called Fire Nagy, but it's crazy. And honestly, W move for Chicago. Let's see who you guys get next. Then we have the Broncos with Vic Fangio. Now, I don't think Fangio is a terrible head coach. Denver has bigger and a lot more problems than just their head coach opening. But they've had that Broncos defense was actually really good and talented at the beginning of the season, but then it just fell through and fell apart. And that's kind of to blame on Fangio, I guess. But they have a quarterback issue. There's rumors saying that Rodgers goes there next year, and who knows? Hopefully, as a Packers fan, he doesn't though. Hopefully, We win a Super Bowl and we run it back. But Vic Fangio, 19-30 record in Denver, hasn't made the playoffs for the past 3 seasons. I actually predicted Denver to get in the playoffs this year, by the way, fun fact. But they didn't, and I know for a fact that they miss Peyton Manning in that organization because, man, let me just say right now, Fangio wasn't very successful, but he was hyped up, and I think he failed expectations by a lot. So Fangio leaves. I think it was the right decision to make. And then finally, the last head coach firing that happened this last Black Monday. The Dolphins took an absolute L with this move. Well, not an absolute L. I try to keep an open mind whenever an organization does a questionable move out there. But firing Brian Flores, it, I tried to step into you know the Dolphins GM's shoes, and it made sense in a way because obviously the Dolphins have a lot of talent on their roster, and the fact that they missed the playoffs is something underwhelming, and you want your head coach to lead your team to the playoffs. But I think the Dolphins have more and bigger problems than just Mr. Brian Flores. I think they should have kept him for another year, and that would have been his hot seat year. If they didn't make the playoffs next year, then you can let him go by all means. But at the same time, Brian Flores, he never made the playoffs as a head coach or whatever. So I think, like I said, the Dolphins, they had bigger issues than just Brian Flores. So is this a bad move by the Dolphins? I think so. But who knows who they're going to find? It's probably going to be hard to find somebody better than Brian Flores out in the coaching field. Probably Doug Peterson. I don't know. He's probably still looking for a job. But Dolphins took. I'm going to say they took an L with this move, but I do think Tua Tagovailoa is not the answer. They should get another quarterback because he plays extremely bipolar. So change your quarterback, not your head coach. Dolphins, you guys took an L, but I kind of understand your move. Moving on, these firings already happened, but I'm going to still go over them because they're head coach openings for next year. The Raiders firing Jon Gruden, I think that was the right move, and that was beyond like football because they found his emails and it got messy and stuff. So I don't I don't think that Jon Gruden is a bad coach, but it was more than just football, and that goes for the entire Raiders organization. If they didn't have off the field issues, I think they would have been much better right now. But Raiders firing Jon Gruden, and I actually want to give a shout out to Ryan Bisacca. I think that's his name, but he's the intern fill-in head coach for the Raiders, and I think he's doing an amazing job. By the way, leading that Raiders team to the playoffs and stuff like that, regardless of all the adversity that team has been facing. Shout out to Ryan Bisacca. I don't think that he's going to stay head coach because they definitely want someone who is more experienced and has a background or whatever. But Ryan Bisacca, I don't know if I'm saying your last name right, but shout out to you. I think you are doing a phenomenal job. And then we have the Jaguars firing Urban Meyer. Hey man, this is what happens whenever you kick your own player and you literally say, "I'm the head coach. I can kick you whenever the fuck I want." And then you get with a college girl. You know what? That's just a whole other video. But yes, the Jaguars absolutely made the right decision for firing him. Finally, these weren't head coach firings over here, but I still do want to talk about these two head coaches because they are very, very questionable. Brandon Staley and Matt Rule. First things first, Brandon Staley. I think Brandon Staley is a good head coach. Now, he did end the Chargers season, which kind of makes me a hypocrite saying that. But I think he has a lot of potential in his offense. Something that I was very impressed with Brandon Staley is the fact that he stayed so calm during all of those fourth downs, and he made the right play calls. He did everything like that. But the timeout, and honestly, I actually don't know who called the timeout. If it was Brandon Staley or the defensive coordinator, but Staley has stuff to work with. I think next year he's going to be on the hot seat. You can't really fire a first-year head coach unless he had a terrible season. Now, this wasn't a good season for the Chargers. It wasn't, but it wasn't terrible at the same time. You saw a lot of good sparks in Justin Herbert, and you see some good sparks in them, but you need more depth, and you need to do stuff. You need to do good things with the offensive line, and you need to do good things with the receiving core. I do think the receiving core needs just one more piece to it, and the Chargers can actually be a very good team. And not to mention your run defense sucks. You need linebackers. Prioritize that in the draft, please. Um, but I do think a lot of people say Brandon Staley should be fired. No, he's a first year head coach. He's young. He he knows what he's doing. He's actually a very good leader. If you watch NFL Mike's up, he's a very good leader. His players love him. Um, every every coach and every person out there messes up once in a while, and he messed up with this. But don't fire Brandon Staley. Chargers, give him another year. Matt Rule, that man needs to go. Fire Matt Rule, and the Panthers are probably not going to fire Matt Rule, but if Matt Rule even has a bad performance in the first 5 weeks of next season, fire that man. The Panthers are no good with him. He literally compared the Panthers' plan to Jay-Z's, like, I don't even know what he said. That man is so weird.
I believe it's 1,000% working. I just know no one can see it, and I apologize. I tell our team all the time, it took Jay-Z like 7 years. It took him 7 years. He had to start his own agency to become famous, to become an overnight sensation.
Yeah, I have no idea what Matt Rule's on. But anyways, fire Matt Rule, keep Brandon Staley for at least another year. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around for this next week. I'm going to be posting so much NFL playoff content, and I'm really excited for this week. It's one of the most fun weeks of the NFL season. But yeah, I'm out. Peace.